So let's say you want to solve the corners after DR so that you can get to HDR, but you don't want to learn corner solutions because, I don't know, imagine learning algs for FMC, right? Intuitive event, whatever. Anyway, or you're just lazy. Well, this is kind of an alternative thing that might work. I don't know, I just came up with it like last night or something. Yeah, so it's kind of like hyperparity, but like less, I don't know, it's like dumber, so I can call it like dumb hyperparity or something. Well, yeah, okay, so let's get into it. This method should get you all corner solutions less than 4 quarter turns, and like, yeah, that's most of the things that we'll be using most of the time anyway, so it's good enough most of the time. If you really want to get a 5 quarter turn corner solution, then just go and learn the algs or something, because I don't know them either, so I can't make it into this video. Yeah, I'm bad. Yeah, so let's get right into it. So after you get DR, the first thing you need to do is count the number of bad corners. Alright, so in this case there are 4 of them. So let's talk about 4 bad corners first. There's 2 types of 4 bad corners. The first one looks like this, which is where you have the 4 bad corners that can be set up to the same face, right? They could be like this after the scramble or something, but if it can be set up to the same face, then we will call it the 1 quarter turn lookalike case, because it kind of looks like this, right? Just like that. So yeah, so we call it the 1 quarter turn. This 1 quarter turn lookalike. The second type of case is when you have the bad corners like this, so they're kind of not aligned, and the best you can do is to put 3 bad corners on one face and 1 on the bottom, right? So we can call this the 2 quarter turn lookalike case, because it kind of looks like this. Simple 2 quarter turn trigger. Yep. So try to get familiar with these 2 shapes, and we'll talk about how to solve them next. Okay, so for both of these 2 types of corner cases, I'll just start by showing you the easiest possible solutions first, and then we kind of increase the number of QT from there. Okay, so for the 1 quarter turn lookalike case, simplest thing to try, 1 quarter turn. And if the corners become real HDR from here, you can just very trivially solve them and get your whole corner solution out, right? But of course, real life is not so simple. Most of the time, it's not a 1 quarter turn case. And so we can try the next thing, which is a 2 quarter turn solution to this case. So this one goes like this. We split up the 2 corners into this configuration. So they are like diagonally opposite like this, and notice what happens if I do a U move here. So this bad corner becomes good and goes there, and this good corner becomes bad and goes here, right? So like the same thing happens behind. So the position of the bad corners hasn't changed, but their colors are now different, right? So if we just undo everything from here, then we've changed the state of the corners, and this could result in a real HDR. I mean, in this case it doesn't, but you know, there's a chance that it will work. So if that works, this simple 2 quarter turn solution, if that works, then that's great. So let's talk about 2 quarter turn solutions for this case. So you have your back corners here. You can just do this. Okay, so 2 quarter turns is pretty simple. You do U prime R2U, right, to just swap the 2 bars around. And if this gives real HDR for the corners, then great, you now have most of the corner solution. You can fill in the rest really easily. But of course, most of the time it's not going to be this, and the most simple fix that we can try for this one is we do an R2, so these 3 are on the same face. Now the single corner here, you can just bring it over with a D2, and if we set up the case again from the new angle like this, see, it's the same case, but now it's like a different angle, and we do the trigger. So there's a chance this could become a real HDR for corners, right? I mean, in this case it isn't, but that could work. So to recap, when you have when you have a 1 quarter turn looking case, you can either try 1 quarter turn, or bring it like this, split up like this, do a U, then just undo all the setup moves, and then finally finish off with the 1/4 turn. This could give you a real HDR. And for this kind of case, you can either do it like this, so that could work, or you make it 3 and 1, do the shift, make it back to 2 bars, and then try again. This could work, but so if both of these methods fail, then there's one more thing to try, a couple more things to try, which I'll come into next. Okay, so let's say you have the 1/4 turn case, look-alike case, and none of the previous two methods have worked, right? So it's not 1/4 turn, it's not 2/4 turns. What could it be? Well, here's one other way which could work. We split them up like this. We do a U move, which brings it to the 2/4 turn look-alike case, right? Then we apply the little fix that we talked about just now. So do R2 to make it 3 and 1, 1, 2, 3 and 1 corner. Do a D2, rebuild the 2 bars, and then do the trigger. Well, in this case it still doesn't work, but it's alright because there's only one other solution left. Okay, so if that 3/4 turn solution didn't work, the last thing you can try is, it's almost exactly the same thing as the previous one, just start with a U2. Alright, then we do the first, then we split them up, we do a U, bring it down to, by the way, U prime works here as well, but anyway, yeah, so we split them up like this, do an R2 to make it 3 and 1, D2, F2, so now you have this, and then we just do the trigger, and hey, in this case it worked out, right? Great. So now we have our corner solution if we just write all of that down. So only 4 things to try for the 1/4 turn looking case, which is just 1/4 turn. The 2/4 turn thing where you set up to the diagonals and then you shift it, and the thing where you set up to the thing where you bring it back to the 2/4 turn looking case, and then we apply the little like shift thing and then bring it back. Okay, and the 4th thing to try is just do a U2 first, then the little 3/4 turn thing we talked about. Yeah, if these 4 methods don't work, then what you have is probably a 4/4 turn or a 5/4 turn case, and I mean, just don't do it. I guess I don't know, or like learn the corner solutions, I don't know. Okay, so we mentioned just now that for the thing that looks like 2/4 turns, which is bar and bar, we have those 2 solutions already, right? The one where you just do the trigger and the one where you apply the funny little fix thing, right? But let's say you tried both and both don't work. So what are the other options? Well, the only other option you have, which is, so for this case there's only 3 options. The only other option you have is we do the first move of the simple trigger. So now it turns into a 1/4 turn look-alike case, right? Then we set it up to the diagonal opposite case like this. We do the shift, either U or U prime here is fine, it doesn't matter. Then we just bring everything back and we check if that gives HDR corners. In this case it does, so it worked out for us, right? Yay. Oh, oops. Right, yay. So that worked. So once again, the thing is, okay, so once again, the solution is, the last solution, the one that's 3/4 turns, we reduce it to 1/4 turn, look-alike, not actually 1/4 turn, but you know what I mean, right? I don't know. Maybe you don't, but whatever, I don't care. So like this, do an F2, make it so that it's diagonally opposite, do this move, this little like shift thing, then undo everything and finish off. Yeah, so that should, if these 3 options don't work, then it's either 4/4 turns or 5/4 turns, and we don't have to do them. Yay. Okay, so let's move on to the next case, which is 2 bad corners. So if you have 2 bad corners, there's really only 2 things to try, alright? And they are like almost the same thing, so really only one thing to try. So if you have 2 corners, all you gotta do is put them on, make sure that they're not on the same face. So for example, this would be an incorrect configuration because the two back corners are on the same face. This is fine, and this is fine, depending on the scramble and stuff like that. You know, usually you can like just cancel with the DR setup move or something to get the state we want, right? Anyway, all you have to do here is from this state where they are not on the same face, remember either this or this are fine, just do a single quarter turn. Now you have the 3-in-1 configuration, which is the 2 quarter turn lookalike case, and all you have to do is set it up to 2 bars and try the trigger. In this case, this gives you a real HDR of the corners, so that's great, it worked. But you know, if you didn't, okay, so let's say you did the HDR, let's say you did the first quarter turn the wrong way, right? So like this instead. Then when you set it up to the 2 bars and you do the thing, you get a fake HDR, right? So it's like, oh no, what to do, right? But well, the fix is fairly simple, right? You saw just now, all you have to do is just try doing the first quarter turn the other way. Then when we set up the 2 bars again, should be real HDR. If both these methods don't give you real HDR, then you know the same thing applies. It's 4 quarter turns or more. Don't have to do it. Yeah. Okay, the last case is 0 bad corners, but it's a fake HDR. One of them is 4 quarter turns, so like you don't really have to do it if you're just a beginner, right? Anyway, if you're like seriously considering using this method, then you're probably a beginner anyway, so like just don't do it. And the other case is this kind of like parity wiper looking thing, which is 3 quarter turns, but honestly I haven't figured out how to do it properly yet, so this video won't have it. Yeah, deal with it. Maybe I'll make a new video if I figure it out or something, I don't know. Yeah, by the way, you can also just like learn the remaining subsets for like the 4 quarter turn and 5 quarter turn ones if you want, but I don't know them, I haven't figured it out, so yeah, that's it I guess. So that's dumb hyperparity. I don't know if this is useful or not, but I think it might be useful. I don't know.